Hi FCST 1010 students. I waited an extra day to do the screencast because this technically is our fall break. But I figured we had a couple of things to do, so I better get started or let you guys get started. We're going into week 9. Next week we'll wrap things up and we'll already be through with FCST. And for some of you, this will be your first college credit, and you can mark it off a list of things that you have to complete. So let's go to the LibGuide. We're going to go to Module 9. And this module is over communication. This module actually probably should be Module 1 or Module 2. This is all about communicating with your professor, communicating with your fellow students, communicating to the front of a classroom. So we'll start out. This is a great video under Step 2, Day 1. It's our intro video for this week, and it's about typing an email to your professor. And it says, don't type an email like you text. In other words, don't use lowercase i's. Don't start out with hey, once you watch the video, you'll see. But I get that a lot. A lot of times, I have a doctorate of education. A lot of people refer to me as Dr. Wheeler or Miss Wheeler, Mrs. Wheeler, Professor Wheeler. All of those are fine. I don't require anybody to call me Dr. Wheeler because I have an earned doctorate. It's nice to hear, but I'm Miss Wheeler, I'm Mrs. Wheeler, whatever you feel comfortable with. But I'm not comfortable with being referred to as hey or with nothing at all. You always want to start it off when you're referring to a professor or anybody else for that matter. Address them by their name. Hi, Dr. Wheeler. Hi, Miss Wheeler. Hi, Mrs. Wheeler. And at the end, you want to put your name. I can't assume who anybody is. A lot of people email me from their personal email address. So even if it's from your Highlands address, believe it or not, I have students with the same last name. So it's a little bit confusing. It would even help to put what class you're in when you're emailing a professor. It would really help a lot. And you don't want to put a lot of cutesy stuff. Now, I put a little happy face in there sometimes. I don't put laugh out loud or anything like that, although I'm not really offended by it. The main thing that I want from a student email is address me by my name and sign your name at the end. Uppercase I's, use correct punctuation. Take a little time in writing the email. Whenever you're asking your professor for something, please do it in a courteous manner. I had a student before, she said something like, hey, I thought you were going to give me full credit for those. And smoke was probably coming out of my ears simply because I allowed her to make up late assignments. And instead of saying, hi, Dr. Wheeler, thank you so much for allowing me to make up the assignment. I appreciate any credit that you give me for the assignment. Will I receive any more points? Instead, she put, hey, exclamation point. I thought I was going to get full credit for those assignments I made up. And, whoa, that's not how you ask somebody, especially I was actually giving her extra time to complete something. So be careful with that. That's one no-no for communication with your professor. Step 3 is etiquette for emailing a professor. There are sample emails. Don't be afraid to talk to professors. Just because they have a higher degree than you do at the moment doesn't mean that they are above you. I like to think of myself as, I've been where you've been. I would show you the same respect that I want you to show me when you're referring to me. and that is face-to-face or in an email. Communicating with classmates, that's another excellent article. A lot of people have trouble communicating with their classmates. They don't talk at all, or either they say things inappropriate. They scold other classmates. I don't like to see that either. So read that over, communicating with classmates. Step 4, don't be afraid to talk to your professors. Y'all, this is one of the funniest videos I've ever seen in my life, and it only lasts for about a minute. But it will have you in stitches. It really will. Anybody that watches it, whether you're a student or not, is absolutely hilarious, and I think you'll get the point of it. Lastly, for day 1, I said that this is going to be due Wednesday before midnight, but since I'm just now posting the video on Monday, I'll give you until Sunday to complete the journal, the 2 student replies, and our weekly challenge. But this one asks, do you feel comfortable communicating with your professors and communicating with your classmates? If you answered yes, what's your secret with communicating with professors or with classmates? If you answered no, then tell us why you don't feel comfortable and what you could do differently to feel comfortable in this situation. I always, I went back to school late in life, and I didn't feel uncomfortable speaking with my professors, but I was a little shy in addressing them. Not much, but maybe, I think everybody's a little shy. The start of day 2 is public speaking. Not all of us are extroverted. Some of us are introverted. Myself, I could talk to a tree. That's why I'm in the profession I'm in, I guess. And I had no trouble speaking in public, none whatsoever. A lot of people do. Watch this video, and it could help with some of it. I'm not going to say it's going to get you over your fear of public speaking, but it might help with some of that. There are resources underneath it. In day 2, step 2, there are different resources. This is college grads' lack of verbal skills. Look at that. I believe this is an infographic, if I'm not mistaken. It may not be. And then take the following communication skills, communication quiz. And let me make sure that both of these links work for you guys. Yes, they hurry up. This is not an infographic. I'm sorry. College grads like verbal skills. Read this. It's pretty short and sweet, but it tells a lot. Tells a whole lot. So read that one, and I will go back and look under the quiz and make sure that link is not broken. And that's not broken. So, and I think, let me find the quiz. I'm wondering if the quiz is right here. Yes, this is the little quiz right here. So let's go back. We'll take the quiz. It's short and sweet, and it's fun. And then lastly, for Module 9, you will complete Challenge 9. How can you communicate with your professor? This is a fun assignment. I do it every single semester, not just because I love Mary Poppins and I love Disney, but because it kind of gets the point across. It says, if you're new to college, you may not have much experience talking to educators. In high school, many teachers see their students as unapproachable and often don't talk to them at all. In college, this apprehension is often increased. After all, professors are overeducated, single-minded intellectuals who sleep in their offices and hate students, right? Wrong. Professors are actually a lot like you. They value learning, they want to see you succeed, and they've already been where you are now. Amen to all of that. In addition, they have families, social lives, hobbies, and values, and they understand that real life sometimes conflicts with college. All of the above for me. I'm just here to share my knowledge with you. Other than that, we are on the same playing field. So to complete this assignment, I want you to watch the clip up above it from Mary Poppins. Jane and Michael Banks, they just lost about their 12th nanny, and their parents are going to hire a new nanny. Well, they come in and they have a letter that tells what they want in a nanny, and they read it out loud. And if you haven't already watched this clip before and actually in the movie, you'll see that their demands are pretty high. And so think about your demands for the perfect professor. Are your demands realistic? What do you want? You know, I've had in the past people say, I want a single female as a professor. I want them to be, you know, attractive, funny, give no homework, tell you everything that's going to be on a test, allow you to eat in class, you know, all of the above. I want you to write a half-page a description of your perfect professor. It says you don't need to be realistic. Only write what you would really want from your professor. Would having the perfect professor make it easier when communicating with them? I want you to have fun with this, but when I say you don't need to be realistic, be just a little realistic. And what I would like to say after this, and you don't have to include this in your challenge, but I want you to think about this. Write down everything that you would like in a professor, and then think about how many of those things that you're actually going to get in every professor that you have throughout your college career. Chances are there may be only one or two that you can get. If you want to change those odds, you can ask other students about a professor before you choose them, what their likes and dislikes are, what their demeanor is like, what their personality is like. And sometimes you still aren't going to even get close to what you would love in a professor. In that case, you still have to take the course, and then you have to find ways to overcome it. And one of them is being an active participant in class and doing everything that we've learned throughout the previous 8 modules. Taking notes, being an active participant, being a good planner, using your learning, like your multiple intelligence, the way you learn best. Use that when you are studying for that class. All the things that you learned previously will help you with a professor that you may or may not be in kinship with. So write a half-page description. You can write much more. It would take me a full sheet of paper to write down what I thought the perfect professor was. So it may take you more than a half a page. Just kind of run with it. Email me if you have any questions. I left off any scores this week from games just because maybe your team didn't win. All of mine did. The Gators had a pretty good win against Missouri. The final score was 21-3. The Falcons pulled it out yesterday. Oh my goodness. They caused me to have a heart attack in the 4th quarter, but they still managed to pull it out. They didn't look great, but, I mean, Deontay Freeman looked great, but Matt Ryan still didn't look up to snuff, although I still love him. And then the President's Cup, the U.S. golf team beat the international team on the final hole of the final match. And I was up at 3 o'clock in the morning Saturday night watching it. I know that's crazy, but go USA. Anyway, if you have any questions about this week's module, please email me at kwheeler@hollins.edu. Y'all have a great week. It's going to be a short week if you have face-to-face classes. And take care.